Hey, this is Andrew Aversa with Impact Soundworks, and today I'm going to be showing you a preview of our upcoming percussion, effects, and bass library, Cinematic Synthetic Drums Pro. If you haven't already checked it out, we have the free version of Cinematic Synthetic Drums available on our website. It's in the percussion section. It's got about 50 or 60 sounds, all from scratch, made using digital and analog sound sources. We've got some basic effects in there, some drops, textures, that sort of thing. And so for CSD Pro, rather than just me designing a lot of the sounds, we actually have a whole team of sound designers, including Jordan Fehr, Mick Gordon, and Brickwall Audio. Compared to the original library, there are going to be over 400 sounds in this one, as well as lots of presets, preset kits, preset effects, that type of thing. We've totally revamped the user interface, as you can see, and overall, we think it's going to be a really useful tool for all kinds of hybrid scoring and even just pure electronic music. So let's just check it out. I want to show you how the library can be used and some of the sounds we already have. So as you can see from the interface, this is based on a sort of a mixer setup. We have 4 banks of 8 channels, each of which can have a separate sound. So if you're on channel 1, this is a kick. We can change that very easily to a splash, for example. You can change the splash sound, can change to an effects category like hits or impacts. So lots of cool stuff in there. Of course, we have snares, thips, tonal sounds, percussion, and then in the effects categories, we have reverses, risers, drops, textures, sweeps, and the impacts. More on that in a bit. But anyway, so the core of the library is, of course, this, where you can assign any number of drum sounds to up to 36 keys on the MIDI keyboard, 32 keys. And then we have effects in the bottom right, as well as preset kits. So for example, this is one of the kits we've created for the beta, massive dubstep. You'll hear a lot of these sounds are very, very cutting and aggressive. So the inspiration for these sounds is, of course, music like Skrillex, Kill the Noise, so really, really big sounding, super punchy, and again, aggressive. But for example, so if you load a kit like this and you're playing with it, and let's say you're using some of the toms, and you want to go for something a little bit more processed, you could add bit crushing. It's all very easy to do, or we could use the one-click hype button, which is something I came up with basically because I often find myself applying similar effects to different drum sounds as I'm writing, and the idea is just to give you the ability to quickly get an even more powerful sound. So again, that's really, really useful for just a quick, boost and enhancement to your sound. And then those individual effects you can, of course, add and change at your leisure. So let's say if you edit a kit, let's say you're on the kick, you change the tuning or the panning, maybe between 2 different kicks, you pan them opposite, something like that. You can then save a custom preset as whatever you want. So you can save this as my massive dubstep. And that will save the preset, and you can always recall it later with the load button. So that's very useful. So let's check out another kit. This is Injured. And so this is, of course, really, really very harsh. And you can remove some of that harshness by, taking off the bit crushing, for example, and maybe the saturation. Another example, we have big hits. This is sort of a menu style sound of just really sort of deep, powerful hits. So these are kicks. And then these are the actual, from the impacts category, these are more like effects. and so forth and so on. some of the other kits we have. This is a sort of an analog model kit. So for example, this one is again more of a modern, sort of modern dance or dubstep sort of sound. So we have these preset kits. We're going to have quite a few of them. And of course, they're all very customizable. You can set up your own kits, load and save, change the transposition very quickly and easily. And then by using the one-click hype, you can, again, boost the sound quite easily. There's also sound menus. So let's say you click on snares. This is now going to change the keyboard to have a different snare mapped to each key. So from the bottom, we have... or you could change that to kicks. That's really one of my favorites. And that one, for that matter. We have a category called slams, and this is sort of like not quite snares, not quite kicks, but somewhere sort of in between. And then on the effects, so this is where this becomes more of a sound design tool. Let's say you have just impacts. Now you have a really useful tool for enhancing trailers, transitions, that type of thing. Actually, we can even take off the amplify just to hear what it sounds like without it. And some of them do have tonal aspects, as you can hear there. Drops are all, pitch drops that are useful, again, for, right before a big hit. Textures are more tonal, things that can really set the mood with just a single key. And then risers, this is something that's very popular these days, especially in trailers. But rather than show it to you from in the interface, I want to show you how the library can be used actually just using your DAW. So here we have the folder of all the special effects that we have so far. And especially for things like risers and reverses that are more time-based, it tends to be more useful to actually see the timing. So, if you're trying to line up something with measure 3, for example, you can just drag the sample in. Then we have stuff like this. Very long and quite epic. Things like reverses. Some of them are simple, but really useful for treating or adding a lot of extra texture to a particular point in a score or a cue. Of course, it's also pretty easy. Let's say you take an impact. If you're using your DAW, all of a sudden you can make that now a reverse just by using something like that in your DAW. If we were going to reverse that again, this is what it sounds like. So pretty cool stuff. And then we have more traditional impacts like this. In fact, let's just take a few impacts and hear them sort of side by side. So the design principle here is big, powerful, lots of punch, and we tried to EQ things so that they're not going to take up necessarily the whole frequency spectrum right out of the box. But anyway, just to go back to the interface of CSD. So you can use the library like that in kits. You can drag in things like effects into your DAW, and you might find that more useful for trying to line things up. Create your own presets, edit existing presets. And then another feature we have, which is sort of like just an added bonus really, is the solo sound button. So let's say you find a sound that you like. Let's play around with the kicks. So let's say you like this sound. If you hit solo sound, that sound will now be pitched and placed across your keyboard. And that can be very useful for certain kinds of sounds. You can certainly do that with tonal sounds. So let's say something like that. I think we call that one like a bomb ticking, something like that. So it's quite easy then to, if you wanted to instantiate multiple instances of the patch, you could actually use it as almost a tonal instrument, even just with the percussion and effects. So in an upcoming video, I do want to show our actual tonal patch, which is our tonal basses. And that's a completely different interface. It's a different thing entirely. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what to expect from the percussion and effects that we have coming up. I think it's very exciting. We've put a lot of time into the sound design of this. Again, I think we're up to about 200 different effects. You can see here on the left, lots of impacts, reverses, tons of risers. And then in terms of percussion, again, we're, I think, near 200 as well. And those are individual drum sounds. So much like an acoustic library, you might want to switch out, just the snare of a kit or just a closed hi-hat or a tom or something. That's sort of our goal with this, is give you that same level of flexibility, 10 round robins, but with these original electronic sounds as well. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you're looking forward to CSD Pro. We're going to post some demos soon. We've already posted at least one preview. You might be seeing another at this point. And then we also have the blog posts sort of detailing how we're making the library. So please check those out if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.